Alright guys, a little concerned. A Ford Explorer generally has a maximum towing capacity, if it's brand new, of around 5,000 or 6,000 pounds. That's a little too big for that SUV. What's going on, guys? So I am back here at the cargo trailer, and I know there were a lot of folks that saw the video where I installed the two Lion Energy lithium ion phosphate batteries in here. And I told you guys that that was just kind of a preliminary video to make sure everything connects and to test it out from a preliminary perspective. Well, I'm back at the trailer and I've done some additional upgrades to it that I promised you I would do, including kind of trying to tidy up the wires a little bit. So hang tight, I'll be right back. Okay, so the first thing I've added to the system is this MPPT solar charge controller. This is the etrailer MPPT solar charge controller. And what this is designed to do is essentially convert excess voltage into amperage, and it helps charge batteries quicker. This is something you definitely want to have if you're going to be running lithium ion batteries. It also regulates multiple panels, so if you run them in series and you have higher voltage coming in, it essentially dials it down and converts that excess voltage to extra power that will decrease the amount of time it takes to charge your batteries. And down here I got my batteries, the two Lion Energy batteries. I have my ground connections now connected directly to the chassis, as well as the opposite negative pole of the other battery, whereas the positive's coming off of this battery, negative's coming off of this battery. I have it ran into a fuse block controller. First of all, it's going to a low voltage regulator, and this essentially will kill power coming from the batteries if the voltage drops too low. It then feeds it through a breaker. The breaker then goes into my fuse panel here, and I have it going out to the different systems that require power from the batteries. First of all, my solar is connected coming in from that MPPT controller through this Redarc DC to DC battery charger. This is also an MPPT controller, but this is designed to charge both of the batteries from solar directly through this brown cable coming in. I have my GoPower 300 watt pure sine wave inverter, which is also connected through my fuse panel here through a 35 amp fuse, which is a little bit overkill, but that's what I'm using right now. I have this set up in a way that, yeah, I still have some wires going in different directions, but I'm really choosing function over form in this specific case. A lot of people say throw a panel up, drill holes, make your wires look really clean, kind of like you would if you're doing a car audio install. I really don't care from the perspective of what people see visually when it comes to this, as long as it's connected in a manner that is safe, reliable, and functional. I like the convenience of being able to look down here and see all my connections, at the same time know what's going on without a panel blocking it. A lot of people that set up their battery system do it with this nice panel. They put all the wires behind it, they drill holes, and feed the wires into each individual connection, so all you see are essentially the ends of the wires. The reason why I don't do it that way is because behind that panel you generally have a jumble of wires, and if you need to service anything, you have to remove the panel, kind of visually inspect what wires are going through, where they're going, and just because it's clean looking from a cosmetic perspective on this side of the panel doesn't mean that it's clean on the other side of the panel. So in the case of what I have going here, this is really designed to be a reliable setup, one that works well, one that is fully protected. There's all sorts of protection in play here. One that's going to give me the power that I need in an easy to service format. I can do all this, and I did all of this in a matter of about an hour. Just moving everything where I wanted it to be, making it easier to see, easier to manage. And for me, being able to visually see what's going on back here is more important to me than looking back here and patting myself on the back because it's such a clean install. Clean installs generally mean, again, you've hidden a lot of your wiring. You've routed it in a way that people don't see it cosmetically. And I know you guys watching my channel want to see the wires. You don't want to see it from a finished perspective. You don't want everything sticking out. You'd love to see everything absolutely tidied up and clean like you might with a custom car audio install. But in the case of what I have going on here, I was more worried about making sure it was done right, making sure I have everything connected properly, I have my grounding properly, I have access to all my connections, and everything is set up in a way that, again, is just well protected and works. I can glance down here, I can see if something's not working, I can see what's taking place, and I don't have to worry about removing anything to gain access. So guys, I just wanted to quickly go over all this because this is something people did bring up in the last video. The last video was really just to get these things hooked up, get them working, and see how they work. This video is to clean it up a little bit, give me more control and protection in areas that I can visually inspect, and more importantly, get it tidied up in a way that's easy for me to access. So guys, I hope you enjoyed it. Again, these are the Lion Energy batteries. I've had the opportunity to work with just about every battery manufacturer. They've all reached out to me. They've all offered to provide me their batteries. And the reason why I haven't gone with some of the brands that perhaps you've heard more about is simply because there's 100 YouTube videos out there where they've been provided batteries. They've installed these big elaborate setups, and you've seen them. I wanted to go with a brand that is less known, a brand that people may not be as familiar with. It's a competing brand, and it's still a really good product. It's lithium ion phosphate, so it's still a safe product, and it's definitely one that I think adds some diversity whenever you're searching for content on lithium ion batteries. You can find 1,000 videos on some of the other brands out there, and I think that some of these lesser known brands are worth talking about. They're worth understanding a little bit more about and understanding if they work as well. Now, as they go out to reviewers, people are going to use them differently. People are going to have different setups. They're going to have them installed in dump trailers, in RVs, in motorhomes. I have these in a cargo trailer. If I had these in an RV, I would definitely clean the setup up because I think it's more important that it's cosmetically appealing in that type of environment. But in a cargo trailer, this is going to provide me what I need. It's set up the way I want it. To me, the wiring is actually pretty clean, because it is the way I want it to be, and it shows a product that you probably don't know that much about other than maybe a few YouTube channels that have done a couple of reviews on them. In some cases, those reviews were very, very positive. In some cases, they made some suggestions. Sometimes you have to watch the very last video in the review, if it's a string of reviews, to find out how they really feel about it. But overall, I've seen a lot of positive feedback on these. So I will give you my impression of these batteries after I've had them for a few weeks and a few months and possibly a year. And hopefully you'll get a better interpretation of what you think the Lion Energy product's all about. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, and we'll talk to you again very soon.